Hello guys, thanks for joining this session. In this session, we are going to implement Custom VPC. So let's jump into the diagram of Custom VPC, which we are going to implement in this lab. So this is the architecture of our Custom VPC, where we are going to have two subnets, subnet 1, subnet 2, main route table, custom route table, internet gateway, and the implied router. So now let's jump into the AWS management console and design our VPC. So we are into AWS management console, and here we need to go below, and there in the networking and content delivery you can click on VPC. It will take you to the VPC dashboard. Now we are into VPC dashboard. Next we need to click on your VPC. This we have already seen that we have a default entry for a default VPC. We have already discussed in our last session. Now here we need to click on this create VPC button first. So let's create it. So we are into create VPC form. Let's understand. Here you need to provide the CIDR block range. You remember why do we use CIDR block range? The CIDR block range will be used to provide the range of IP addresses. At the third option, IPv6 CIDR block, we need to choose no IPv6 CIDR block for this particular implementation. And at the fourth, there is something called tenancy. We will look into the options. So default and dedicated. Dedicated, so that means the hardware which is being allocated to this VPC, that is going to be only used by you. So that means it is not shared. But if we are using default, so that hardware is being shared, whichever AWS will allocate to you. So this is the difference. So let's fill out the form. So here we will write, and the range which we are going to provide over here is that 10.0.0.0/16. So you can get the information. If you have any doubt, you can place your cursor over here. It will let you give you some tool tips that why this field is being used for, as I already explained. Now moving further, we will click on create button. So we have clicked on create button. So it will not take much time. So it is being created. So now it will take us to the VPC dashboard. Here we have created this one, custom VPC, and if you will go inside that, then you will find all those details what it has been associated. Main thing you will find over here is the default VPC you are getting over no, as it is a custom VPC. So let's look into that. What are the things which is being created when we have created this custom VPC? So the resources which is being associated with custom VPC, we will go into subnet. So we will find that only 6 subnet, North Virginia region, and that is being associated with the default VPC. So that means there is no subnet is automatically created. So we need to create a subnet, and that we need to associate with a custom VPC. Let's look into the route table. Go to the route table, and what we will find over here. So the main route table it has created. So by default, whenever we are creating any kind of a VPC, it should create main route table by default, and that is being associated with the custom VPC. You go there, then you will find over here, then you will find that main route table which is ending with 6AC2. Now we will go to the route table and we will verify that it is ending with 6AC2. So that means this route table is being automatically created when we created the custom VPC. So let's move further and look into that other component, whether it is being created or not. So we will move further, internet gateway. So you will find that there is only one entry. That means it hasn't been created any kind of internet gateway. This internet gateway is being associated with default VPC. Now moving further and look into the other component from the security aspect. Go to the network ACLs, and you will find that there is an association. See your custom VPC. So it has by default created a network ACLs NACL for our custom VPC. So how do you identify that it is being associated with our custom VPC? You will check over here. It has mentioned that custom VPC. Now we have seen that network ACLs. Now move further and look into the security group. So within the security group, you will find there is one security group is also being created. So look into that. So here, this is the security group which is associated with our custom VPC. How do you identify it is a custom VPC? The ID, and you will check here that what is it is ending with 584. You can go there to your VPC. So it is ending with 584, and that name is the custom VPC. So it is being associated with this security group is being associated with the custom VPC. So just give a name that is called default security group so that you can identify it. It is always a good practice to give a tagging so that you can recognize it. So now we will proceed further and create a subnet, and that we will associate with our custom VPC. So let's go to the subnet, and here we need to create click on create subnet. Now in this form we need to fill in the details of the subnet which we want to create, like name of the subnet and which VPC it is going to associated with. Then we need to provide the availability zone preference. If we will not provide, then it will automatically choose that. And here we need to provide the IPv4 CIDR block for subnet, which must be fall within the CIDR range which we have defined while creating the VPC. So let's fill in the details now. So here we will fill that C subnet 1, and here we need to choose the custom VPC, and here it is tagged also default VPC and custom VPC. So now it has automatically picked up the VPC CIDR block. So if we are not going to choose availability zone, then what will happen that AWS will automatically pick the availability zone for us. Now here we need to define the range, but prior to that we will also choose the availability zone over here. So we will choose the US East one. So it must be associated with one of the availability zone. If we will not provide, then it will automatically pick up, but we have chosen US East one. Now here we need to provide the subnet. So you will write 10.0. which should fall into the CIDR range. So we have provided IPv4 CIDR block, and if at any point of time if you have any doubt, so you can get the information with these icons. Click over here, you will get the detail about what actually it is, why this field is getting used. So it has given for each of the field why we are using it and what is the purpose of these fields. So click on create button. Once it is being done, then our subnet is being created. So see here we have created a custom subnet and it has given that 251. So you remember why it is 251, as I told you. So this is 32-bit octet, and 32 minus 24, it has given 8, and you will find that again I will do the same calculation for you. So here our calculator. So it is 32-bit octet, and we have told that we are going to use till 24. So 32 minus 24, we remain with 8 bits, and if you take out 2 to the power 8, then we will get 256. And I already mentioned that 5 addresses which is being blocked by Amazon, so that you can remove it. 256 minus 5, top 4, and the last one 251. So that's the reason we are getting over 251. So now moving further, you will find all the detail over here. So see here, you are getting default subnet. No, so far what we have did. So let's go jump into the diagram. So far we have created this subnet, that is subnet 1, and we have given the name subnet 1. So now moving further, and we will create the subnet 2, which is being associated with the different availability zone. So let's jump into the AWS console now. Now again click on create subnet, and here again we need to provide C subnet 2, and VPC it is going to associated with the custom VPC, and here we will choose this time some different availability zone. We will select US East 1B, and now here we need to provide the CIDR range. So here 10.0.0.2.0/24. So now we have defined our range. Now click on create button. So it will create second subnet. We will go and verify it. So now we have subnet 1 and subnet 2. So you will go there diagram. We have created the subnet 1 and subnet 2. Now moving further. So now we have to make sure that one of the subnet is being a public subnet. So how do we can do that? We need to go to the internet gateway, and first we will create the internet gateway. Click on create internet gateway. So now here you need to provide the name. So you can associate CIGW, and then you need to click on create. So it is being created, but you will find that the state is detached. So we need to make sure that it should be attached. To do that, we need to come here actions and attach to VPC. And we need to select the custom VPC. So we have selected it and click on attach. So now this IGW is being attached with the custom VPC. So now it is being attached. And here I want to reiterate the point to remember which we have discussed in the theory section, and that is you attach a single internet gateway to a VPC at any point of time. Now moving further, we will go into the route table and create a custom route table, and then we will associate this internet gateway to that particular route table so that we can have our internet access within the VPC. So we are into the route table, so we need to create over here create route table and give a name so that you can easily identify custom route table, and here you need to specify which VPC you want to associate. Custom VPC we want to associate. Click on create button. So it has created a custom route table, and here you will get an entry. So what we need to do, you just need to select it and need to check what entry it has when it is being created. Click on that. So you will find that it has a local. So you remember that why it is being local when we have discussed this thing in our theory section. I have explained it. So it is because these CIDR range, whichever instances which exist within these CIDR range, that should communicate with each other. So any traffic which is coming within this traffic range, that will communicate. So that's the reason it has already been entered within this route table. So it is available by default. So here the point to remember to iterate that whether it's a main route table or whether it is a custom route table, this entry must exist within the route table. Now we need to associate the internet gateway which we have created in the last step, and we will associate that internet gateway over here. So how to do that? We need to come over here and click on edit route, and then we will get an option to add route, and here we need to specify 0.0.00/0. So this is telling that this is going to be applicable for all the traffic, and here we need to choose the internet gateway, and here we need to specify that which internet gateway which we have created, CIGW. Click over here, and now we will need to click on save routes. So click over here, close. Now we need to associate the subnet which we want to make it public. So come here, and here we need to select one of the subnet and associate. So to do the subnet association, we need to come over here and click on edit subnet association, and here you need to select one of the subnet which we have created. So we are going to make it C subnet 1 as a public subnet. So to do that, first we have to click on this and save it. So now we have associated the subnet. So next we need to make sure that auto assign public IP is being enabled. So how to do that? We need to go into the subnets, and then we need to select the C subnet 1, and here you will find auto assign public subnet is no. So what we are going to do, we are going to make it yes. So how to do that? So make sure that you have selected that subnet, and now we need to go on actions, modify auto assign IP. Here we need to select the enable auto assign public IPv4 address and click on save. Now go and check. So we will find that auto assign public IP is yes. So now we have done with the all VPC component configuration. Now we will move further and create an EC2 instance which belongs to this custom VPC. So let's move into the main console, and from there we can create a EC2. So now we are into EC2 dashboard. We need to come over here and select the launch EC2 instances, and here you will select the free tier only, and then we need to select the Amazon Linux, and then we need to select the configure instance details, and here we need to select the custom VPC. See there, it automatically choose the subnets which is being associated with this. So we need to select the US East 1 as it is a public. So we are going to create a public instance. So here, so that means we need to associate with the subnet which is being associated with the internet gateway. So this subnet is being associated. So once you have selected the subnet which is being associated with the public internet gateway, so why we are doing this? So because we wanted to launch our EC2 instance in public subnet. So that's the reason we are associating with the C subnet 1 as it is having an association with internet gateway. So that means this EC2 instance can be accessed using public IP. Now move further, and we will go there and click on next, add a storage. So we will leave it as is. Now we will go to next, and here we can add some tag if you want. So we can give env some web server. So now next we will move further and click on configure security group. So here you can create a new security group. We are also going to create over here. So here we need to choose that HTTP. So now you can give a name, the SG group, custom SG group. Once it is being done, so click on review and launch. So click over here. Here again you need to provide the key pair. Give a name, that custom VPC demo. Download the key pair, save it, and launch EC2 instance. So it is launching now. We will go there. So see here, this EC2 instance got launched and it is being assigned that public IP. Now what we need to do, this we have launched in a public subnet. Next instance we are going to launch, and we will launch into the private subnet so that we can have this infrastructure design in place. So let's jump into AWS console again. So this time we are going to launch an EC2 instance in our custom VPC with private subnet. So click on launch instances, and this time again select free tier only, select, and here you need to click on configure instance details. Come here, select the custom VPC, and this time we are going to select C subnet 2. So it is already being selected, as this subnet is being associated with private subnet because we haven't configured any kind of internet gateway with this subnet, so it should be into the private subnet only. Now click on next, add a storage. We are going to leave it as is. Click on add tag. We are going to click on add tag. For example, we are going to keep it as a name, give it a name. So private instance, mainly we can keep databases, so you can give it a name, database 1, which is residing into the private subnet. Now we will move further, configure security group. So here you can create another security group, give it a name, C private security group. So here we will add rules so that it would be accessible from the database protocol only. For example, MySQL, and it should be accessible from our public subnet. So we will choose that. We will add one more for ICMP so that we can ping it. For ICMP over here, all ICMP IPv4, and we can access only from the public instance. So here now this EC2 instance is being accessible from this IP, which is associated with our public EC2 instance. Here we can make sure that the SSH connection also you will do it from this EC2 instance. Proceed further, click on review and launch. Now click on launch. So we need to provide a new key pair, demo1 we can give, download it, click on launch instances. Now our EC2 instance getting launched. So see here, this is having only the private IP but not the public IP, and this instance is only accessible through the IP which we have mentioned, that is our public EC2 instance. So now we have two EC2 instances running. One has the public IP, you will see here, and if you look into here, the database is one, it doesn't have the public IP. So now we have completed our design. So let's go into the diagram and understand that what we did. So we have completed this infrastructure design where we have launched two EC2 instances, one in the private subnet, another one is the public subnet, and those subnet is being associated within the custom VPC, where we have created an internet gateway and associated the custom subnet 1 with the internet gateway, and then we have also created a custom route table where we had make an entry for that internet gateway. So that's it guys, this is what I wanted to demonstrate you in this session. See you in the next session. Till then, bye bye, take care.